Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're going to kick this off here shortly. Let's just get everybody wrangled. And I'm going to stop. Good morning, everybody. You guys want to grab a seat? There's plenty of chairs. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah. All right, that was fairly easy. All right. So, like we'd like to kick it off every week. Let's begin with tell me something good. Online, if you have something, you shout it out. But I know, oh, by the way, Michael, Haley, Holly, Cambiz, go ahead, turn your cameras on. We want to see your smiling faces. We want to feel like you're in the room with us. You too, J-Rail, if you can. I know you might be in the hospital, so no need there. Paul, what's
morning.
Your business? Morning, Michael.
Last week, signed 2 new listings, and that makes 7 of my listings this year now came directly from my referrals from here.
Fantastic, round of applause. So, are you doing anything special to stay in contact with your sphere?
Mostly just trying to post a little bit more on social media, share even some of the small things, not just the big wins, close, share some smaller steps, and then also being a little more free to talk about it at the family barbecue.
Love it, love it. Thank you so much, Paul. All right, who else had something to win?
I just been working on this horse property down south for over about 18 months, and we finally got an appraisal out because there's some problematics on it. The pool is basically a pond with fish and frogs.
Large koi pond.
And the appraisal came out, and I'm thinking, oh, I hope we get $695. The appraisal came out.
Wow.
So we're ready to put it on the market to see what happens.
Fantastic. That's a win. And then I'm going to call on my favorite person in the room and in the world, Miss Valerie Jennings. What 2 things happened to you this week? She's my wife, by the way. If you don't know, that's my wife. And my baby mama and my ex-girlfriend. Go ahead. You put 2 escrows. You had 2 escrows.
Put a piece of land in escrow, which had been listed by another agent for like 6 months. And she didn't get it sold, so but yeah.
Oh, I got it sold in 2 weeks, and the other one.
2 weeks, yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
So you got so many escrows you can't remember them all.
Oh, yeah. No, this one was cool. It's a referral from another agent. So sometimes agents like from out of the area will just Google like realtor in Sacramento or whatever, because they're trying to find somebody to send their client to, and they Googled us. And I got her in contract in like 3 days. So
While we're on that topic about realtors, I wanted to share this really quick, because we are talking about reaching out to your sphere and sphere deals and realtor referrals. So I don't know if I'm sharing my screen to everybody, so let me share my screen for those of you online. Okay, so here is our Google My Business page. This is free, people. Anybody can do this, right? Lexi knows that I've done this. There's people in the room that know I've done this. We push these Google reviews really hard. That agent was just Googling agents in the area, stumbled across the reviews and said, hey, I want to work with, I want to send my clients to these people, right? So you're probably thinking, okay, how do I get reviews? Well, it's super easy. This is the exact script we use. We call up somebody and we say, or you can text them, or you can message them on Facebook, and you say, hey, if I sent you a link to my Google page, would you be willing to leave me a 5-star review? And if they 5-star, you gotta mention that. There are some people in the world who think, only Jesus Christ is worth a 5-star review. Everybody else is 4s, right? And so you got to mention 5-star, and if they say yes, then you send them the link. Totally safe, totally fine, right? So if I sent you a link to my business, if I sent you a link to my business page, would you leave me a 5-star review? Say yes, I'm willing. Right? Isn't that what I did?
Yeah.
Yep. And so over time, you'll see these reviews go up. You have past clients, reach out to them. And the whole point of doing this is that as our agents are reaching out to their past clients, they're like, oh, by the way, so-and-so wants to sell their house, or, oh, by the way, I was thinking about moving, right? And so not only are you getting a 5-star review, but you might be getting some business out of it as well immediately. Pretty good? Like that stuff?
Good.
Awesome. Well, what else do we have? Mr. Rodney Rose, what's happening in the wonderful world of lending?
It is exciting, let's say that for sure, right? It's
Yeah.
definitely volatile. For example, this morning between 6:30 and 8 o'clock, we already had 3 rate changes. Yeah. It's like, it's just really crazy out there right now. Big news week, Friday will be another news event that will affect it, but you know, overall rates are up, as we all know. They went up, they're going up today, they went up yesterday, they had dropped down quite a bit on Monday. But we are at 22-year highs on rates right now. So really the strategy and structure of loans is more important than ever. And what I'm doing with clients right now is not only just giving them a pre-approval, but when you really think about it, right? Everyone wants that giant credit card, as I call it, to go shopping for a house with a payment, a purchase price on it. Really what they want is the payment.
Yeah.
That's what they're qualifying for, right? So along with the pre-approval, I'm sending a payment matrix. So that way it helps you guys, I think, quite a bit, save a lot of calls, and stress and wondering what it is. Because literally, if I give you an approval, right now, like this afternoon, it might not be valid, right? Because rates could have changed that much. So with the payment matrix, it literally has across the top, there'll be different, and they're based off of one parameter of the down payment, right? Percentage on the down payment. They'll have interest rates and the house prices within the middle of just your payments. So you'll know you're approved for this payment. You just follow that payment along. So obviously, if the rates go up, your house price is going to go down. You just follow where that payment goes. If the rates go down, your house price can go up. So it kind of helps people understand what's going on, I think, in the market and how important it is to get it done today versus tomorrow. Although I really do still believe that we're going to see rates coming down towards the end of the year, which will make everything good, which is why I'm really still pushing the temporary buy down. The temporary buy down has a lot of benefits. You have to qualify today at today's rates, right? But unlike the permanent buy down, which most people are doing and being pushed, which costs thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars more, the temporary buy down is refundable and it comes back to the borrower, right? So that when you do the permanent buy down, that money's gone. So if you refinance, you sold, you had to move, whatever, in a couple months, guess what? All those thousands of dollars of 3-4 points or whatever some people push, they're gone, right? That money's gone. But if you spent 10 grand, right, which is probably less than a point, and or somewhere depending on the price point, maybe a little bit more than a point, that money, whatever's left over, it goes into the money, first of all, goes into an impound account, basically, think of it that way. And each month, $800 comes off of it, right? So the next month you have $9,200 left. And if month 6 you refinance or you sold, that $5,000 left over comes back to the borrower. So it's not wasted. So you're getting the biggest bang for your buck for your client, right? Who may going, hey, I heard rates are going down. I don't want to buy until then. What if I can get you that payment today or even better, right? Because typically what you can do is take 2% off of today's interest rate and make that be your buy down rate payment, right? You still have to qualify at today's rate, but you could get the payment of tomorrow's benefit, right? So if rates go down, which Fannie Mae projected in their report, the average interest rate for 2023 by Fannie Mae's statement is 4.5%. That means that we're probably going to be a little higher than 4.5 in January, but by December we could be in the 3s, possibly, right? Somewhere in the middle to get the average of 4.5. So you would get the benefit of today, get your buyer off the fence today, and then they can refinance later. And it's like you've heard me probably say already, you're going to marry the house, you're just going to date the rate, right? So you can change that rate out later. And that usually gets people in the conversation. So
Rodney, if they do that temporary buy down and they want to refinance and there's cash left over, can they just use that cash to refi?
absolutely.
Yeah.
There are, depending on the program you go with, some of them will apply it to paying down the balance. So if you owe, 400,000, now they're going to say, oh, you refinance, you're only paying $395, but you have that $5 grand kind of baked in there. Some will give it back to you because it is in the account, for you. But either way, you're getting the benefit of it versus you're not burning it off, from the beginning.
I love it. I love it. So so correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm hearing is for people who are more dollar conscious, they should probably do the temporary buy down, right?
Right,
If they're really pushing, hey, I want this rate, I want to know it forever, I don't care what it costs, then you can do the permanent buy down.
right,
Yeah.
right. But the difference though is dramatic, right?
Yeah.
You can get a 2% discount today on today's rates. So for simple math, if it's at 7, then you could get 5% payment. If you-
Wow.
For that same amount of money to get to the 5, it's not affordable and it probably wouldn't be compliant with loan guidelines.
Mhm.
I know
Other people,
sometimes,
yeah.
have said like, oh, do 6%, points, right? You can't do that unless you're putting down a certain amount of money. And it varies by FHA versus conventional and VA. But with this temporary buy down, that's across the board. And literally what I'm pushing, you can do a 1-year buy down, 2-year or a 3-year. I like the 1 year and cramming that payment in, and literally whatever the payment is, take $800 off. Because that's pretty much the formula. And all you're really doing, it's no magic. You're just prepaying the interest by the seller, right? It has to come from the seller. Purchase transaction going.
And it can only go back up to today's current things, that we didn't went to
Right.
an 8%, they would never.
They would
get
never
there.
go up. Yeah, your rate, you're qualified at today's rate. Worst case, rates didn't go down. Or you didn't want to refi because you're gonna like, I'm moving in a month and it doesn't make sense or whatever. They go to, like she just said, it goes back to today's rate of 7%, if that's what it was,
Mhm.
right?
Absolutely.
Here's the
After
thing,
that time period, whatever it is, yeah.
at the end of the day, people, like, over 3,000 homes sold last week in our MLS, 3,000 homes, right? All we need is one. If we all got one a week, right? You'd be making close to 7 figures, right? So there's plenty of opportunity out there. Buyers are buyers, sellers are selling. And Rodney, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Probably my cell phone. You can call or text at 916-223-2775.
Sorry, I got interrupted. 916-223-2775.
2775.
One other question, I heard that there might be a pullback on the jumbo, maximum amounts, have you heard anything on that?
On the jumbo loan or on the high balance conforming?
Like the max you can borrow on the jumbo loan, they're pulling back from whatever it was, 70 something back to.
Right, so he's asking a great question. I haven't heard on the jumbo pulling back. There are some, guidelines. They're definitely tightening up on the guidelines in the jumbo market, which is totally a different market. The guidelines are similar to conforming, but they have their own individually. But actually I've seen like I have VA up to 4 million. You can do no down at $4 million, right? That's crazy. So that one's kind of increased. It depends, like at $1 million, somewhere between, depending on the funding source, between $1.5 million and $2 million, you might have to have 2 appraisals instead of just 1. But most of them are still, they're qualified, they count less of your money in qualifying, so it's a little more restrictive. The high balance, that's available now. If you haven't heard, you can get for conventional financing today with loan amounts up to 715, right? For conforming, that's great. So that you can use.
That was the one that we had heard it was gonna come down to like 680.
680, right,
From 750.
right. I hadn't heard that. I heard that in 2024, they may not increase it. So they're probably discussing what's going on. Yeah, so it doesn't go effective officially until January 1st, and then you have the high balance portion, which could be higher. So they jumped the gun maybe because the market's softened. They're predicting right now that appreciation on homes are going to be like 3.5% for next year, right? Still going up, just not as dramatically. So,
Good point.
yeah.
And then, go ahead, Drew.
And so I got one more thing too. So one of the great things that are happening right now for me is I have a referral that an agent brought me on crap houses. Okay, so I specialize in dealing with investors. Okay, so you ever come across a house, when it comes to putting together a deal, there's 2 aspects. Okay, there's the client actually qualifying. Okay, but a lot of people forget about the house. The asset itself has to qualify as well for conventional financing. Okay, there's roughly about 10% of sales nationwide every year that do not conform to that kind of financing. Okay, there needs to be other alternatives, right? So in this market, I've actually been able to figure out kind of some workarounds of making wholesaling actually being able to go through the brokerages. Okay, which is
Can you
what
explain what wholesaling is?
wholesaling is essentially selling a contract. Okay, where you get a buyer at $100,000, you get a seller at 150. Okay, you get to keep the difference, all right? EXP does not like that, right? There are workarounds that you can do so, okay? They're pretty advanced in techniques to do so. Okay, I'd love to talk to people about it. But what's also is you can always bring it to me. Like I have one that was just brought to me. We're in contract with one of my buyers. I helped the agent be able to get 3% of a listing on their listing and run everything through the brokerage. Okay, exactly how the brokers want it to be, right? Which is something he came across the property. He didn't know really how to work it. Okay, I taught him how to do so and able to get now 3% on the listing.
Boom. So if you have so a lot of like the open doors, offer pads, if they're not getting the deal done, reach out to Drew and he might be able to get that deal closed for you.
Drew, what's your number?
916-996-4407.
Cool. We got a lot of ground to cover. We got Eric to speak, and then we got a little surprise here at the end. But before we move into that, there are two things we wanted to touch on. I don't know if you've noticed that mountainous pile of clothes in the backyard. Today at 3 o'clock, we're going to donate those and more. There's more clothes in the in Valerie's car to Hands for Hope. EXP's helping run that fundraiser. Today at 3 o'clock, 5005 Windplay Drive, Suite 2, El Dorado Hills. If you want to be there and be a part of that, it's happening today at 3 o'clock. Is that right, Gurley?
Yeah, 3 to 3:30. So if you're planning to show up late, don't show up late. It's just like a quick little, we're gonna give the.
Can you stand up so everybody can see it?
We're just gonna like give the clothes to the kids, and the kids are, gonna go give them out. But it's basically just like a presentation of here's all the stuff that we got for you guys. So that's what's happening today. A few photos, there's gonna be snacks, but it's really just 3 to 3:30. Then we're all done.
So at 2:45, that's what we're saying there.
Yeah.
2:45, it starts at 2:45, and you won't miss it. Yeah. All right, and then of course, coming up here in November, we have a business planning clinic. This flyer is incorrect. John will not be speaking, but it'll be fantastic. The time, Rob, is the time right?
Everything's negotiable.
No, good question. Hey, if you're there at 9, you won't be late.
Yes.
You know?
I think this-
Okay. So anyways, this is coming up. In the past, we've had Sean Kokoska, Bill Pipes. It's always a good way to end the year and set you up for success in the year to come. So don't miss that. You can go on Eventbrite.
Guys, just a reminder, that's not actually for you alone.
Good
It's really
point.
an event to bring people to. I have so
point.
often gotten caught up and thought that I was supposed to be planning my business, and I am, but that's not why we put it on. We put it on so that you will bring someone to the event. Start asking now.
Good
To
point there.
steal a line from Mr. Brent Gove, which I hope I don't steal his thunder at all whatsoever. But his phrase that he's loving is leaders bring guests. Okay, bring your guests to these events. Okay, it will grow your organization. You can also at the same time, even if that doesn't happen, you can help people. Right? All of us need this right now in this market. We need help. We need to be together on this. So bring as many people as you can and just help them.
Love it. Love it. So speaking of Brent Gove, I was talking with him this morning, and you always, when you're talking about that with Brent, you always lead with a nugget. And he said, Johnny, success is today, right? It's not a destination. It's not like, oh, once I get this sale, once I get this escrow, once I get those leads, once I get this closing, once I lose this weight, once I have money in my bank account, once I go on a trip, right? We're always looking to the future. Success is today. So if you haven't read the book, The Gap and the Gain, highly recommend it. Team read it, they love it. They're sharing it with their family. It emphasizes living in the game, living in what's happening good today. There was this, everybody, raise your hand. Have you guys heard the name Ed Milet before? Is that familiar to some people? One more? Yep. And then he was telling the story recently about how he was in a restaurant with a friend, and the friend was like, hey, what's going on in your life? Tell me about yourself. How's life going? He's like, nothing's going good. Nothing's going good. And he's like, really? He's like, yeah, nothing's going good. There's nothing, like, my business is down. I'm not feeling good. Like, just life is horrible. Family life's messed up. I'm like, really? So you can't find one thing to be happy about? It's like, no, not one thing. This is just stop asking me. He's all fired up about it, right? And all of a sudden, a couple people come walking into this restaurant and they clearly are suffering from cancer. They have the headbands on, their faces are pale and drawn, and they're just smiling and they're saying hi. They're locals to the restaurant. And then they walk past Ed as he's saying this to his friend. And he turns back to me and goes like, really? You can't find anything? Right? Like all of us sitting in this room, we're healthy, right? Like you may have some stuff going on in your life, but you're healthy enough to be sitting in this room, you're sucking air, you have friends that care about you. If you don't, and you have family, right? Like there's always something to be positive about. We're always going through something. There's always something negative, but remember that success is development. Okay, just live in that game. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, we're going to switch over to Eric Laughlin, who's going to be speaking on closing mastery. Give a round of applause to Mr. Eric Laughlin.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
I'm excited to share some words of encouragement with all of you on a topic that I'm passionate about, which is closing. And is there anyone here in the room that could use some extra pointers to get a little bit better at closing, just out of curiosity?
100%.
All right. Well, there was a couple of closing ideas that were already presented, and Johnny shared one about closing for those reviews. And the language he said was really important. I wrote it down as best I could. I think I got it. I might have missed it by a word or two, but if I send you a link, would you give me a 5-star review? So that could be done with a text, an email, direct message on social media, a phone call, and we're going to ask and be what? Silent. That's right. Ask and be quiet. Ask and be silent. You might have heard of the first person to speak loses. I don't really think of it like that. It's win-win, but that's a very powerful language pattern when you're asking for the listing. Or what Drew was talking about and Barry was talking about, the events coming up, the business planning event, and then they were both sharing about, inviting people. That's a close. So you're going to reach out to an agent. Hey, we got this great planning event coming up. It's on this day at this time. I'd love for you to come as my guest. I'm going to be there. Would you like to join me? Would you like to join me? And then be silent. And that can be done electronically. So how many of you want to do, in addition to being productive, you want to do agent attraction? Agent attraction. So here's a real simple formula. You're going to reach out to 1 to 5 agents a day, 5 days a week. Now, when you have an event like that one coming up, if you will reach out to 5 agents a day, 5 days a week. So let's just do the math real quick. So how many agents is that?
25.
25 a week times 4 weeks is how many a month? 100. What if you did that for a year? How many agents would that be?
12.
Do you think you could grow your business if you reached out to 1,200 agents over the next 12 months? Would you all agree with me on that?
100%.
Okay, that's a duplicatable system. So Drew's on my team. I want to lead from the front. He's in my organization. So I'm going to do, let's say I'm going to go for 5 a day, 5 days a week. And I'm going to enroll Drew in doing the same. I get, hey, Drew, what do you think of this? And he, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then as leading him, I'm going to stay in touch with him every couple of days, shoot him a little text. Hey, how's it going? Are you doing your 5? So let's say now I'm doing, Drew's doing it, and it's 5 a day, 5 days a week. So how many is that over the course of a year? If we add both of ours, how many is that?
24.
2,400 agents. So now I'm going to build me, Drew, and 4 others. So now there's 6 of us. 6 of us doing 1,200 agents a year. What's the math on that? 7,200. Your business is going to grow. Okay. To do an electronic reach out to invite to that class, it takes you 2 minutes for one. So if you're doing 5 a day, how many minutes is that?
10.
10 minutes a day. Who's got 10 minutes a day to grow your business by show of hands? Okay. It's a simple way of thinking about it. So we're going to talk about closing. I started off my first year in sales. I've been in sales almost 30 years now. My first year, I was the bottom producer on a team of about 15 people. And it got so bad, I was put on quota probation. And they wrote me up. They said, Eric, you got 1 more month to hit your quota or you're out. Quota was 10,000 in gross sales. And so I started looking for answers. And I got a little bit better at closing to the point where I made quota by 1 sale. I did 10,500. It's like, quick, keep my job. Next month, I did 51,000. I went from worst to first in 60 days. If you're a note taker, jot this phrase in your notes. Closing is a learned skill. Closing is a learned skill. So what Brent does and what I do, probably most of you, if not all of you in the room do, is we're constantly working on our skills, whether it's social media or negotiation or, well, one of those skills to fit into the queue to go and lift the weights on is closing. So I gave you guys, you should have gotten one of my business cards, and on there's my cell phone, and I'm going to offer you a course that I sell for $995. I'm going to give it to you for free. To anybody here in the room, anybody on Zoom, you guys want my course, I'll tell you how you guys can request that. And what you got to do is you got to go through the course. Okay, you got to lift the weights, because the course is not going to get you any better unless you go through it. So this is something to suggest for you to prioritize lifting the weights on your closing skills, because the closing skills are going to come up for agent attraction. They're going to come up for the reviews that Johnny was talking about. They're going to come up for getting the listing agreement signed in the first place, getting the buyer to agree with you, to agree to work with you. The only way that I know to get better at closing is to work on the skills. And how I focus on it, I don't look to get massively better in a short amount of time. I look to get micro improvement. I'm focused on that. I want to get that much better, because if I get that much better, then the next day I'm gonna get a little, it's just, the ideas are going to build on themselves. So I don't think Brent became Brent by making giant leaps and bounds in a day, in a week, or in a month. I think it was, he just got incrementally better. You guys, would you agree with me on that?
100%.
Okay. So what, and he's Michael Jordan, right? So he's at that level. But what is he still doing?
Still working on himself.
Working.
He's still working with coaches.
100%.
He's, I get a chance to spend time with him because we do the podcast together. And he's like, I was just at this conference, or I was just at this mastermind, or I was just reading this book, and he's already at that level. So Brent has a podcast. I'm passionate about it because I'm the co-host. You really should be listening to that podcast. It comes out pretty much every week. Brent and I just did a podcast yesterday that'll be released. I think it's this week, probably Friday, maybe Monday. If you go to brentgove.com podcast, every week, there's a new episode that comes out. It's usually like 15, 20, 30 minutes. And that's a great way for you to lift the weights. It's also a great agent attraction tool, because what can you do with the podcast link? You can share with other agents.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen to this link. And there's certain ones on there that you'll really resonate with. Okay. All right. Next idea. 3 ways to elevate your closing results: inner game, outer game, and action. Inner game is your mindset about closing. Outer game is the how-to techniques. Every how-to closing technique can be learned. Every single how-to closing technique can be learned. And action is the doing. Getting those appointments booked and getting in front of the prospects, sending out those review requests, reaching out to 5 agents a day. Inner game, outer game, and action. So I got a couple more minutes here. I'll share a few more ideas, and I'll tell you guys how you can get my free course. So this is some of the most advanced content that I know, and it's reverse engineering results. And if you're a note taker, you can jot this down in your notes. So if we reverse engineer results, it's results. That's what we're all striving for. Results. And then the step before results is action. So what you guys will do, you'll get on a coaching call with me and you'll say things like this: I know what I need to do, I'm just not doing it. Or I need accountability. Or I just need to get myself to be more consistent. And so if we go upstream from action, if we're reverse engineering results, upstream is thought or language. I'm going to call that the same thing, thought or language. So if you're not taking the action, if you know, I know I need to be doing agent attraction, but I'm just not doing it. If that's the thought. So if you have the thought, I know I need to do agent attraction, but I'm just not doing it, what's the action going to be? You're not going to do it. And then what's the results going to be? Inconsistent. So if in any area of your life, if you're not getting the results you want, look at the thoughts that are creating those results. Like, I hate prospecting. That thought produces a certain amount of lack of action, which produces a certain amount of lack of result. So you start asking yourself, what is the thinking that's causing this result? Every time I make the money, I spend it. I'm not an investor. Those are thoughts that produce a certain result. We have thoughts about our health. We have thoughts about our finances. We have thoughts about our marriage. Then if we go upstream from thought, it's being, as in state of being. So who are you being when you're selling? Because a lot of people are uncomfortable when they're selling. Is there anybody here uncomfortable asking for the order? Get to the end, maybe you get a little uncomfortable asking for the order. So what I would suggest is what's causing you to be uncomfortable is who you're being. So who you're being, state of being, you might be fearful, fear of rejection. How are they going to respond? Here's the flip. Be service. You still need to ask for the order, but be service. When I prospected Brent back in the day before I got the opportunity to be in front of all of you guys today, if I was being fearful of prospecting Brent, what would I probably not have done? I wouldn't have reached out. I wouldn't have reached out. It's like, who am I to reach out to Michael Jordan, right? Like, who am I? And so we could be in that conversation in our head, but that's not how I looked at it. Like, I'm going to be service. I'm going to be service. I'm going to be adding value. I'm going to be, I can make a difference. So from that being, that creates the thinking, which creates the action, which creates the results. So you start noticing being fearful, being uncomfortable versus being confident, being certain. Okay. So be service, one of the most powerful things that you can do. All right, 2 last tips to share with you, and then we got our special guest. So as a best practice, when you go into a listing presentation, or if you're going to talk to somebody about agent attraction joining EXP, what I would advise you to do is to create an outline. I would actually have you write down an outline of the key points you're going to cover in the order that you're going to cover them in. And I would go in with a game plan. What a lot of people do is they go in and they wing it. And always remember this, when you wing it, you get wing it results. When you wing it, you get wing it results. So Barry, give me the numbers on this $1 million listing. I closed the deal after splits. How much would I take home as an agent? Someone here in the room, it's a little different depending on where people are at, if they capped or not, but about how much do I make on a $1 million listing?
Where you're 25,000 normally, and then you take out your 80-20 if you have it capped out.
It's like 20 grand.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going on this $1 million listing. You get that listing, you get it to the finish line. That's $20,000. Okay. When you're preparing to go do that listing, are you preparing to deliver a presentation that's going to generate you $20,000, or are you just showing up? See, and it's bigger than that, because if you're doing it right, you're probably going to turn 1 deal into 4 through repeat and referral business. So if I turn 1 into 4 now, how much money are we talking about?
80 big ones.
80 grand, guys.
Actually, it's more because you capped out. You're gonna get that. It's 100 grand. I look at every client as a 100 grand client.
Okay. So here's the deal. Are you preparing that presentation to produce $100,000? Is there anybody here that goes, you know what? There's some room for me to improve my preparation before I go and deliver that presentation. Okay. That's where like the kind of work I do comes in, because I'm all about preparation. And this course I'm going to give you guys for free. That's what the whole course is about, is how do you prepare for that presentation in advance? So let me tell you guys how you get the course. So you're just going to send me a text or an email, and my business card. You guys all have that. And Johnny, if you put it in the Zoom chat, all you need to do is just send me a text or an email. I sell this course online for $995. My gift to you for free. Okay. I highly encourage you to don't just ask for the course, but go through it. Right. You study the course. In that course, on one deal with repeat and referral business, we're talking about $100,000 for you. So the money's huge. The money's huge for you guys. So you can just send me a text or an email, just ask me for the course, and I'll happily send it. So that's my short little message for you guys today. And I will turn the meeting back on over to John.
Dude, love it. Thank you so much. All right, there's my forehead and thumbs down. Next up is none other than, this is his meeting after all. It's Mr. Brent Gove. Brent, are you ready to present? Give a round of applause. Puerto Rican time. Puerto Rican time. Speaking, while Brent's coming on, can you shoot him a text?
Yep.
Let me share this. Eric was talking about creating presentations. I want to share you something. Oh, there's the gap in the game. We put that in the chat box. That's what it looks like, but it's called High Note. Probably heard about this before. I know John Gletch was talking about it. Other people have talked about it. I'm going to give you, as Bill Pipes likes to say, a little inside baseball on what the Make More team is doing. But this is pretty affordable. Like it's pretty affordable for what it is. And if you want to consistently have your presentation and you want to consistently be prepared in advance, so we'll just bring up, where's Miss Valerie? Did I pass you, sweetheart? There you are. So what this is you can send this as a link. You can send this in your email, and it tells all about us, all about Valerie, her links to her reviews, things that she does that are different, examples of her photos. Like, you have to build this out, right? Or if you're on a team, they can help you with it. Questions to ask every realtor. So when you go into the listing appointment, and if you scroll down to the bottom, it even has like a templated RP or RLA, right? And so this is pretty ninja stuff. It's not that expensive. I think it's like, I know this is a relative number, but I think it's $200 for the year. So you break that down, it's like less than $20 a month. And helps you, and if it helps you in more listings. So when you go in there, you're not forgetting to tell them something. You're right. You can say, hey, did you see this? And if they're interviewing other people and you got these 5 questions in here and they can't answer those 5 questions, that every realtor should know. Yeah, your wish is my command, Alicia. So here's what it looks like for the client. It's a link. You can, it's like you can email it. But to Eric's point, the only reason why I even brought this up is because Eric was like, prepare. Are you prepared? Do you have a listing presentation that's going out telling you ahead of time, right? This is something that, anyways, High Note, highnote.ai, I believe, highnote.io. Yeah, so you can send this out the day before and say, hey, make sure you take a look at this. It has a lot of great information in there, questions to ask every realtor. And you can actually see when they click on it, like you'll get a notification.
How is that different than, I mean, from this position, it looks like a website. How is that different than just putting this up on your website and sending them a link to the website?
So it's unique to each individual, right? And so you can also see when they click on it. So you can see, if they, yeah, so say, I noticed, I sent it to you. I noticed you were looking at the RLA. What questions did you have? You know?
Also, I want to commend you. I mean, that class was what, 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago that we took that class? VCAR?
Yeah.
Yeah. And already you purchased the platform and implemented it across your whole team. And so if you want to understand the difference between why he has a team and is a leader, and you know, that's a big reason right there, because he implements.
Get it done. Get it done. All right.
It's High Note, just for EXP agents or anybody.
Anybody can use it. Anybody can use it.
A lot of most big names in real estate, you know, have teams and everything. Those are the people that we get these information from, the ideas from, you know, some of the stuff that me and Johnny go to.
So I'll put the link. This is what it looks like. I'm going to put the link into the chat box for y'all. Is Brent able to hop on?
I texted him and called him.
Coach Randy Bird, I see you on the call. You're not normally on these calls. Do you have any wisdom you want to drop on the team?
The third man himself.
Actually, I do, and Brent asked me to come on at 10:45 to share something that we've been working on with you. So sorry if you guys weren't aware of it, but that's why I thought I'd pop in and share it with you. So
Figured. I'm starting to figure it out, my friend. So yeah, let's go. What do you got for us?
well, I appreciate that. Thank you. So if I could share my screen, I'm going to show you a couple things that we've launched with our boot camp.
Awesome. Here, I'll pin you too. So let me remove our pin and then I'll pin
And
you.
Brent may have given me his time, so maybe that's what's going on.
I think so.
He
I think so.
graciously gave it to you.
He graciously gave it to me, and I'm very, very appreciative and honored to be here.
You're now co-host, my friend.
Okay, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. So I'm going to share with you something that I'm excited about. It's a little bit of a sell, but it's called bootcamp.re. That is the website. So bootcamp.re. I'll get Drew and the leaders this stuff if there's any value in it. But basically, we started a new 12-week boot camp. There's some other leaders that have versions of boot camps and different kind of training programs, but I think this is the best I've seen. I've taken all the coaching and all the things and put it into a 12-week class. It's very practical. We do live dials, we do agent attraction, and I'm sorry, not agent attraction, but all production-based language, conversations, scripts. It's real world. We're doing breakout classes. It's pretty legit. We put it together with 3 coaches, Coach Andrea Beam, myself, and Coach Jeff Sutherland. Both of those guys were mastery coaches. They're way smarter than I am. They were able to put this into a format that is above my pay grade, but we brought the excitement and the training and stuff to it. It's really legit. Just a little snapshot of it, literally just a few seconds and a couple highlighted slides, but this is kind of the intro to the boot camp, just so you can see it. That's a little splash intro. And then at this point, we'd go into, this is week 3, working your database. This is, again, just a snapshot of 4 or 5 slides to give you a little flavor for it. But we dig into what it looks like to work in your database, what the sales pipelines look like, how to classify people properly in the database, how to resurrect and give CPR to your database. All versions. It doesn't matter if you're just a new agent or not. It really could be. We call it the FLQA maker because in our organizational language, we've got people that are FLA. We'd love to get them in production. This is one of those programs that do it. It's $397, but here's the deal. If anybody can't afford it, privately reach out to me. We'll get you in it. We don't want to make it a money thing. It is, I've got 3 partners, so there's other people involved. But if there's anybody in Brent's organization, my organization, we're going to make it work, because this was designed not to have it held back from you, but to have you really flourish and succeed. And got some scholarships and things that we want to try and help you do. We have programs that we give the agents to do, VIP client follow-up programs. We talk about how many personal touches. I think that probably the most exciting part of this is an app that we developed for it as well. The app is pretty legit, but to finish up on the slides, we've got kind of practice, right? We've got practical practice. We do scripts and role play, different partners every week. We do breakouts. It's very hands-on and more tactical than it is instructional. And the app basically looks something like this. This is the Like a Boss app that we developed. And you can go to the link. I also have a QR code that we'll put on the page if you want to scan it. Might be far away for you guys, but I'm just, a message away and we'll get it to you. But if you go to likeaboss.life, that's our website that will take you to this, where you can download the app. You can get the app independent of the boot camp, by the way. It's like 75 hard for real estate. A lot of us have been through 75 hard. Pretty amazing. The whole goal of this is daily tracking and accountability. So when you look at the app, like on the screen here, you're going to see this is day 1. It's in 30-day challenges. So you could weave it into your real estate business outside of boot camp and just challenge yourself to get done with these 30-day sprints. Over all the years of coaching, I've identified if we could focus on a 21 to 30-day cycle of breaking a pattern, then things stick. And that's when we really see the difference in these programs. And then secondly, the last piece of the app that's really cool, you have an accountability partner that can see where you're at. You post every day what day you're on. And then it links to a WhatsApp group that we have. So you can see this person got done with their day here. I'll just take you through a couple of these. This person completed day 3 of 30. Everybody's celebrating them. Day 14 of 30. Somebody had to start over on day 1 of 30. So if you fell, it's an honor system. You failed. It's okay. Failure is failing forward. So the app will ask you, hey, did you fail or did you forget? Because if you honestly forget, we'll forgive you and you'll keep going on day 7, 13, whatever. But if you failed, we ask you to be honorable and start that over, because it's for you. It's really not for us in this category. But all the people are posting every day what they love about it, what's going on. It's just really valuable. We taught agents how to do live Facebook posts. A lot of agents are concerned and scared about that. So this is them. I'm not going to play them for their protection, but this is them posting in that they did their daily notes for the day, what day they're on, the script that the 30-second elevator script that we make for how to talk to their database, all these things. And, people are getting fun putting putting the postcards into the mail and all the things. It really makes it very interactive. And so, like I said, we're really excited about it. If it's something that you guys can benefit from, or maybe more importantly, an agent that is having benefit from it, reach out. I appreciate the time to share with the Brent Gove organization and Drew's team. And I see Brent on the call now, but we're really, really excited about this. There's been programs that have been similar to this, but the real magic in this is we're taking that agent and having them do the real life activity in our calls as part of our homework every week. And the feedback in the first 3 weeks has been really, really amazing. So I'm really proud of what myself and the partners have created. So
Hey,
with
Randy,
that, yes, sir.
I want to chime in. here. I had a little internet issue earlier. Sorry, I couldn't be on. I got on and you were going. I'm like, I missed it. And every once in a while, the wind, I swear, if the wind kicks up, the internet gets wonky. It's so wild out here. But I want to go. Can you go back to that boot camp slide where you had the picture of you looking all tough and mean there? That it was a great boot camp slide. You got to have a mean looking drill instructor. Is it just me, or is he propping his bicep up there a little bit? I think he's propping that bicep up. I
have duct tape. I have duct tape under my arm, holding my arm bigger.
I'm calling you out. You were propping that bicep up, you big tough guy. It's
I've been going to the gym. Buddy. I got a golf game coming up in the near future.
You guys thought I had something actually valuable to say. I could not resist. Okay, bring it back to the four of us. I am going to say something, but that is this. I just got you there, Dan.
Hey, pull your sleeve up and let's see that muscle you have.
Solid rock like Juan back there. Hey, so I want to say this. Randy Bird is my brother from another mother, my dear friend. This will get seen another 400 to 500 times online. But for those of you that this is how you grow. I heard a quote yesterday. It was amazing. Every master was once a disaster. Isn't that the truth? Write that one down. Every master was once a disaster. Wax on, wax off, start small, grow. And this is one of those steps you need to take. Act instantly and without hesitation. Get a hold of Randy. Some people I'd say, he's right, I got to do this. And we took it down. So Randy, how do people reach you? By the way, for the 400 or 500 people watching, get a coach, hire Randy. He does coaching. And he's got like a spot or two left, and it's in flux. People finish after 6 months or a year, they go on. So reach out to Randy. Randy, how do people reach you on email or a cell phone? How do they reach you?
Yeah, the easiest way is birdhouse.team. That's our overall encompassing website. And so, birdhouse.team, and it's with a Y.
And then on there, they can go to that website and there's contact me, make an appointment, all that stuff.
Yep. So I'll just share real quick again so you can see it, but that's the website, birdhouse.team. And then
look how friendly he is there. Now he looks all sweet and nice. He's not Mr.
Everything. Yeah, I'm nice. I'm nice in this spot. I'm not in a coaching capacity, but anything you might need will be right there. So appreciate
Randy ran Keller Williams franchises, owned them. He was a team leader. He's owned other companies. Everything he touches turned to gold. It's almost 1,000 people in his rev share organization. So if you need coaching on revenue share or productivity, obviously this is designed to keep the home fires burning. Paying your mortgage or the rent and paying insurance and buying groceries, those things are all necessary. That's what this is for. And you're going to meet other agents as you do this. But I encourage you, sign up. He just offered it darn near for free, pretty much, is what I heard. If you need that, now don't take advantage of that. If you have the $397, spend it. He's worth it. But if you need it, don't be proud. Be humble and say, I could use a hand. He's going to put you in the program. We're going to help you. We're here to help you. But that is a great step if you can't afford coaching. If you can't afford coaching, contact Randy, find out about that. Let him coach you weekly and focus you. He's phenomenal. I get rave reviews. So contact him there. And I'm excited about your boot camp, bro. I'm pumped.
I am too. It's been a long time coming, but we're seeing it move the needle. That's the big thing. And like I said, anybody in your organization, they will never have to worry about it if they can't afford it. We want them in production. And, that's what this is all about. All ships rise with the rising tide. And I'll leave it with this. You did a call for us yesterday on our team, and I really appreciate you, Brent, for doing it. You're always available. but you had the story about feeding your kids, and there's been tight, lean times in my real estate business and your real estate business and the economy and different things. And I remember worrying about if we were going to have the money to feed the kids correctly. And you had a passion about feeding the kids. And that's the posture we need to make in this market. We need to make a posture of prospecting based, marketing enhanced. We have to lead with prospecting. This is balanced around prospecting forward, thinking. And that is the difference of you providing for your family and making it through this next, shift that we're in. There will be people you're very close to that leave this market and leave this space forever. Don't let it be the people we care about. Don't let it be our people. Thank you.
Beautiful. I couldn't say it more. Your children are suffering because of your lack of discipline. End of story. Think about that one. And there was a period in my life when I was 30 that we were broke, we gone bankrupt, and my neighbor fed my children frozen Wonder Bread out of the freezer. We've all had bread in the freezer. You pull out, then you crack it apart with a butter knife, and you almost stab yourself, and you break apart the frozen bread that's got freezer frost, and then you get out the peanut butter and jelly. My neighbor, Mike and Barbara Pushek, fed my kids when I was 30. I will never forget that. I get emotional thinking about it right now. And so some of you, the coming market, it's already here, is going to discipline those agents that can't discipline themselves. You either tell yourself what to do, when to do it, or you're going to blow out of real estate. Someone's going to give you a job and they're going to tell you what to do and when to do it. You get a choice. Build your dream, build their dream. Someone's going to tell you what to do and when to do it if you don't do this. And you will do it if you want to keep your job. You, as the CEO of You Inc., need to tell yourself what to do and when to do it. Because if you had a job, you just do it because, I'm going to get fired if I don't do it. I got to do it. You got to treat yourself that way. You're going to blow out. Someone's going to hire you to build their dream, or you're going to hire yourself to build yours. Rodney, thanks. I heard you share earlier today, Rodney. Awesome. So I'm going to wrap up with this today. I think I have 4 minutes left. Is that right, Johnny?
All the time in the world.
Okay. So I'm going to wrap up with this. Prospecting based. This is key. So here's what I want to challenge you to do. I got to the point where I was selling 3-4 homes a month, 3-4, maybe 5 homes a month. And that's pretty good. I made $393,000 in 1 year, 1999. It was pretty good. My best month ever, I sold 7 homes. And man, I don't know if I'll ever get back to 7. Could you imagine if you just closed 7 sales in the past 30 days? Average commission, let's say it's all the way down to 10 grand. It's higher than that, but let's say the average is 10. That's $70,000 for your wife, for your husband, for your family. It was awesome. It felt great, but I normally did 3, 4, 5, which is great. That felt great. But I remember thinking 7. So finally, what my defining moment was, I got clarity. And that's why this business planning workshop, it's a business planning workshop. You're going to walk out of there with a business plan, an actual booklet. And it's going to be 4 hours and you're going to have a plan. Hope is not a strategy. So here's the deal. Clarity is power. Write that down. Do you have clarity? And I got clarity. And my clarity was this: every day I'm showing property to somebody. Somebody somewhere is going to see a house, a condo, a halfplex, a duplex, a luxury home, a starter home, an investment home, a beat up home, a gorgeous home, a totally flipped, beautiful home, a total dog. I don't care, a piece of land. Somebody's seen something today. When I got passionate, I got focused daily, and I started doing that. I didn't quite show property every day. I think I missed 3 or 4 days that month, maybe 5. But there were some days I showed property. I worked so hard to show property every day. There were some days I showed property 2, 3, 4 times a day. And if you multiply that, let's say times 25, say times 2, that means I showed property 50 times. So it's not surprising when I sold 14 homes. When you double your all-time record, see, the only person holding you back is you. It's not Randy Bird. We're trying to help you. It's not Missy Taylor right there on Zoom with me. Hi, Missy. It's not me. It is you. I give you permission to succeed. You got to, and then you got to get your mind of a champion. You got to think, man, I'm going to show property. We're going to write an offer. We're going to put them in escrow. I'm going to go on that listing appointment. They're going to fall in love with me. I'm going to fall in love with them. We're going to sign a listing agreement. I'm going to walk out there to sign the listing agreement. And you do the listing appointment before you do the listing appointment. You show property in your mind. You see the whole thing to a completion. That's what professional athletes do. You want to make $1 million a year? Think like $1 million a year person. Quit thinking I'm too stupid. I'm too small. I'm too fat. I'm not charismatic. I'm not this. Man, let her rip. Fail. I tell my kids, fail with gusto. Get out there and start failing at stuff because you will begin to succeed. The key to success is failure. Your ego is keeping you broke. And so you want to go next level? I want to challenge everybody in this room because you're capable of showing somebody a piece of property tomorrow. You are capable of doing that. Get on the phone, start calling, say, tomorrow, what about the next day? Don't worry about the next day. Do what you can when you can. You show property tomorrow and then do it again the next day and the next day. 30 days from now, you'll be shocked at how many homes you have in escrow. Absolutely shocked. So come on, man. Your children are suffering because of your lack of discipline. I'm going to end with that thought. I love you all. Mwah. Go do Randy's boot camp. We'll see you guys later. See you next Thursday. See you at EXPCon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate the opportunity.
Good seeing you, Randy. Bye, everybody online. Bye, Brent.
Later, buddy. Hey, man. Thank you, guys. Ladies, have a great day.
Yeah.
Cheers.